man.
Which, number one, is stupid. Number one, how old are you? You weren't even born when the film came out, right? Second of all, in her interviews, she was saying, hey, dude, when I was a little girl, I remember watching, I was like, why does it have to, I was like, you were thinking about feminism as a 4-year-old? Get the out of here, you wide-eyed set bitch. Like, Jesus Christ, you gecko. Amazing voice. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. I am your host, David So, and we have Ed Park, VP, back in the house again, dude.
What's up, guys?
Building shit, making car stuff. Hold on a second. Long ass fucking day.
What's that? What flavor?
Oh, it's good though. I feel like parents are gonna see
Just a little bit for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit. My parents are gonna watch this. Do. My mom. Years ago, she doesn't know what weed is, or she knows what it is, but doesn't know the word for it.
Temacho.
Yeah, she just comes. Yeah, temacho. She goes, "No temacho." I was like, "Temacho, what's that?" She comes into my room. She like looks around to see if my dad's there. She closes the door. No temacho 하고 있지? Temacho. I'm like, temacho. What's that? She goes, 이거.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on a second.
marijuana.
I was like, how do you know what this is?
Yeah, the motion.
Yeah. She goes, 이거. I was like,
It's
what?
not like that.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And I asked her, like, who the fuck told you that? She goes, your uncle told me you're smoking weed. I was like, how? He goes, she said he saw your aggression recently. I'm like, that's
Your aggression?
like, you're so I was like,
That's not what weed does.
I know. What are you First of all, fuck you, dude. Fucking snitch. Even if I was, dude. He even talked to me about it. He just told my fucking mom.
Right.
And then she assumed that I was smoking weed, but I don't think my mom knows what weed does. Right? So she's just like, oh yeah, you go. I'm like, dude, that's fucking crazy that she knew what this is, dude.
The motion, the pantomime of
Yeah.
Not like a cigarette with the two fingers with the middle and index. She did the thumb and the pointer.
Exactly. One of my biggest I wish I would have like fucking sold weed in high school, man. I think I'd have been really good at it. Like I wanted to do that so bad, but I was so scared.
Right. But would you have gotten into your own supply too?
I didn't like any of it. Right. The only reason why I got into smoking weed was because of my insomnia. Like I couldn't sleep. And it's crazy how like that was the last resort and it fixed it almost like that.
Hey, speaking of, he's risen, but also 420 on the same day.
Oh, dude.
You go to church, then you go home and smoke.
What did you smoke and eat a bunch of shit?
I was in Washington this past weekend.
Okay.
So I was in Tacoma, went to our home church, and I had to leave before it even ended. Went straight to the airport, got on an airplane, came straight home, got in my car, went to a weed shop and bought some like pre-rolls.
Dude, I ate like I was going to die tomorrow. Dude.
I think I gained 10 pounds.
Dude, I fucking like starting like I've been chilling since my birthday. You know, I haven't really like gained any weight or anything like that. I'm just like eating whatever. I've been kind of busy, but when 420 hit, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat what I want.
This is your excuse.
And it's I forgot just like eating so indulgently when you're high. It's probably one of the best feelings on earth, dude. It's kind of unreal how good it feels.
My mistake, though, is that I got into... So I'm trying to take in some more protein and be more aware of like what I'm eating. So I have like Greek yogurt and granola, right? And then I have cashews and pistachios, right?
Yeah.
I fucking ate all that shit. And then I started getting super gaseous and bloated. And like, I had to be like, oh my God, stopping. Because it's been such a long time since I smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my stomach was literally just so bloated and about to touch.
Yeah.
I had to like force myself to like burp and fart and shit just because I was so bloated.
I had no idea like weed's thing was, when I first started was you don't know you're full.
Yeah.
You just keep eating.
You just keep eating.
Nobody told me about it. They told me like, oh, you get the munchies, but you guys didn't tell me that the part of your brain that says I'm full completely disappears.
Did you also now realize these late night menus are catered towards stoners.
100%, dude.
Jack in the Box midnight meal is like, dude, this is a stoner menu. Taco Bell late night meal, they already know their commercials are catered towards
Guess
stoners.
what I fucking got, dude? Taco Bell, man.
Yeah.
I got some fucking dog.
It's stoner food.
Let me tell you something, man. The chalupa is one of the most unmatched fast foods on earth. It's so good.
Is that the crispy with the cheese layer and then the tortilla?
They have a cheesy. The chalupa's a deep fried one.
Deep fried one, yeah.
That one, fucking crazy good, dude. That shit's so fucking good, man. I had that. I had some like roll cake. I had some like Korean food. I had everything, dude. And I just kept eating.
Right.
And I just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, that's because I remember when I ate a whole family-sized Dorito chip.
Yeah.
It was like not even the good flavor. It was just like regular nacho cheese.
But you can't stop.
I can't stop. And like it was at Robin's house, and they've had that bag of chip there for like a month because nobody wanted to eat it. I ate that whole shit in one fucking sitting, dude.
I don't know what it is. The repeating motion of it,
the texture, the crunch.
Yeah,
crunchy food when you're high is crazy.
So I got a big giant pack of gum. And now my jaw's fucking sore as shit because I'm chewing for hours.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it's like I'm like I might as well be eating something.
Yeah, I started. One time, like I got so fucking high. I did the Family Guy thing. Remember when he was like on E and he just kept rubbing himself?
There's now almost like 600 episodes.
Yeah, like him just going like this. But for me, it was me rubbing my head.
Right.
And I just kept rubbing my head for like an hour.
Dude, I have a thing where I rub my legs like this.
It's very cathartic or something, right?
And then so like sometimes I forget where it was. If I was in a library and like trying to like do some random work, and then I think I just caught myself just rubbing my legs for way too long.
That's spaced out. There's a sensory thing of doing something repetitive, over and over. So I get it, man. Like I was so. I don't say like I was against weed when I was in high school, but it's just like any type of substance I wasn't really that big into, right? Mm-hmm. And then with weed, like when I first had it, I was just like, I didn't really like it.
I think it takes a lot of people a longer time to actually start enjoying it.
Yeah.
And there is kind of a fear. Even for me, it took me a while. Like I only started when I turned like 30.
Yeah.
But that was also because I had to quit drinking.
Yeah.
Like my drinking was such a problem. And then, I switch it out, and then now my smoking has become a problem.
But smoking to me, at least, like, I know that I'm not really, I thought I was like, oh, maybe I'm becoming a pothead. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Because I see other people who smoke, and I'm like, oh, you're a pothead. Like, you cannot function without weed, right? And it's almost like to the point where I don't know I don't know what the original version of you is. Right? He's like, I'm not even sure if I even met the original version of you.
Right.
So I've only known pothead version of, let's say, Steve. Like pothead Steve is always pothead Steve. And I use that as an example because have you ever like had a homie that we probably did who like the only interaction that you have with them is drinking.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they stop drinking and then you get to see who they are. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're fucking boring. Like, can you go back to being an alcoholic?
Because they have so many inhibitions.
Yeah.
Like socially, let's say. I feel that same way. I feel like my social anxiety, maybe I never realized I had it, but it became apparent when I quit drinking.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink, but all my friends are out, so I better go out, see my friends, but I'm not drinking. Yeah, I was just lame.
It's like it was like that thing that shielded you from everything, you know. It's interesting too. Like, who was I talking to? But they smoke a lot, and it's a couple. They smoke a lot, right? And I think like they were trying to relate to me about smoking, but I didn't understand. I was like, oh wait, they use like weed as like almost like a medicinal thing, like as an escape, right?
Yeah.
I only smoke weed when I'm in a good mood.
They know all these things about the terpenes and some this, that count. And does it taste good? I don't know. Like,
well, that's the thing too. Like every time I go to a weed shop, right, and they're asking me these like quantifying or qualifying questions, and I'm like, hey, give me something strong. Like, don't.
That's what I say. I just say I have insomnia, man. Just give me your best indica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's some people that go like, okay, so it depends on like when the flower is dried and like okay, so I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. I'm not high yet.
Yeah.
Get me something, dude. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, but there are people who are so like geeky about it, right? And
that's true though, but that's how they have to be.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a supermarket where you can just grab something off the shelf.
Yeah.
You got to talk to them. And I think they hired the people to have an encyclopedic knowledge of their entire inventory, and they tried it all, and they go, this one's like this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, those people who sell weed, like that, they're potheads for sure. Yeah,
dude, Robin is the only one that I know that smokes weed and talks more. Like weed does the opposite to him. It doesn't slow him down. It like speeds him up. It's very interesting. Yeah. Because, like, when I smoke, I'm either laughing my ass off or I'm just like drooling, staring at a wall. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm done. Like with Robin, he talks more when he's like high. Right. I've never seen that happen ever. Anybody who smokes, he like gives him like a superpower.
Do you get the introspection too? Where you see yourself outside looking in?
Oh. I mean, besides that one bad trip I had where I fucking astral projected out and I thought I was dead. But it does, dude, John, it was the worst experience ever, dude. He literally had to convince me that I didn't die. Yeah.
I had to drive him home.
Yeah. Like at that moment that I was so fucking high, I got crossfaded accidentally. And it wasn't just regular like CBD, it was Delta 9. And so that shit fucks you up.
Right.
That with the 4 shots of vodka that we had.
Oh, God.
And then we were having shabu talking, and out of nowhere, I astral projected out of my body. And then I was looking down at us eating a meal. And I said, I just figured it out. I'm dead.
He turns and looks at me, and I was in the middle of saying something, but you're like, is time slowing down for you? And I'm like, no. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting old and stuff, no, you were like leaving your body. Yeah.
It was the worst. I've never ever been that type of high before. So it was like moving my head here, felt like my face was being dragged slowly back.
Right.
Like that. So when I took my keys out of my jacket, I just handed to him, I was like, you have to drive us home. Like,
yeah, weed does different effects on other people. Like, I was smoking indicas a lot to help me go to bed, but also because I just was getting high with it. And then I was told by one of my psychologists that, my body had turned indica into an upper. The thing I'm looking forward to chill out and whatever. Like, it's like my dopamine hit. So I actually feel good about it.
Yeah.
Rather than me letting it do its effects and going to bed.
Yeah.
So I realized that I was smoking so much weed watching all these movies these days. This past year, because I quit, I've fallen asleep in so many movies. And I'm like, why am I wasting my fucking money doing this? But it's because I quit smoking before I watch a movie. And then the environment, something just makes me just pass out.
Anything with David Attenborough while you're high is the most crazy experience ever. Like, because Robin loves David Attenborough. He has like this whole random like collection of it, like digital collection of his stuff. And then all of a sudden, Robin being high, he's like, dude, we should watch some David Attenborough. I'm like, why? And the moment he clicks it on, it's like these microscopic organisms. The first thing I go is, whoa, that's Earth. I'm just like sinking into the seat. Oh shit, this is fucking wild.
Yeah. Dude, I saw Mickey 17. Have you seen that?
No, is it good?
Yeah.
So that's the thing about that, right? Everybody is half and half about it. Some people, I'm not sure if people are saying it's really, what it sounds like to me anyways, because I haven't seen it yet, is that it's almost like sin to say something that Bong Joon-ho does something bad.
Well, I mean, because he hit the fucking pinnacle with Parasite, but think more like what's that train movie? Snowpiercer,
yeah.
Think of it more like Snowpiercer and The Host.
Okay.
It's sci-fi, it's his, how does he do it? Like, it's always based around family-ish, but this one isn't.
Yeah.
this is one of those blank check movies where all these producers ran at Bong Joon-ho after the Academy Awards and was like, we need to work together. We need to work together. And this producer throws in 20 million and this person throws 50 million in his face or whatever. And this was his, I can make whatever I want movie. But what he wanted to make was really weird. Really weird sci-fi.
You can't make everything perfect, dude.
I don't think he's a franchise type of filmmaker anyway, right? It'd be so weird if he won the Academy Award for Parasite and then he was doing another Marvel, like the next Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's a weird jump because he doesn't really do PG-13 either, right? So I think instead of giving him a franchise, the studios were like, do your thing, right? And it sucks because it's a business. The box office, numbers wasn't so great. But if you think in terms of weird sci-fi, an original piece, it's I'm not gonna not recommend it. Yeah.
I will say this though,
I did fall asleep.
With somebody like that, I'm pretty sure, like, if he puts out his film and it doesn't do well in the box office, I feel like Bong Joon-ho doesn't give a shit. He's like...
He shouldn't.
Yeah, he's like, I did this for me, dude.
Yeah. Isn't he making The Host Part 2?
Yeah.
I loved the first one.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, remembering, I don't think I've ever seen a monster movie like this, but also like a Korean movie like this either.
Yeah.
Because Korean monster movies, they don't have monster movies. They have kishin, ghosts, like scary kind of shit. But there were, there was a weird time when they were utilizing CGI and stuff. So hopefully the second one is going to be just as fun.
Yeah. It's interesting because, on the topic of like original films too, we're going to do a review of Sinners. I haven't seen it yet, right? But Sinners has been like incredibly... It's been given a lot of incredible praise.
Yeah.
Right? And it's been a while since I've heard about an original film that everybody likes.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are now in the phase of like consistent remakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for a very, 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 very long time. And like the idea of like originals is almost like scary. Like they don't want to touch it. Right? I think Korean people do originals really, really well.
Right. That's true. Because what kind of franchise is there?
Yeah.
What Korean franchise is there? There's no...
Chingu maybe at best.
There's a few... Oh, I know a Korean franchise. The fucking Don Lee, Ma Dong-seok.
Oh, yeah.
The Roundup movies.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, there's no like part 6 of any Korean movie, really. Yeah, but for Sinners, like, mind you, Ryan Coogler is or was known for franchise movies for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was doing Black Panther and the Creed series. And now this one was just like, wow. How do I speak on it without spoiling it?
Yeah.
Is like, it's so much culture. It's so much genre. There's so much passion and love like coming through the screen. They shot it on fucking film, so it's they did a lot of work with like all the actors too, just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about Delroy Lindo and whatever, all that. I forgot her name, but she has like a Japanese sounding name, but she was in Loki. She was fucking great in it. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He has to play 2 characters because he's playing a set of twins. Now, it's not like, his range, like he's playing 2 different characters so well. He's just, you can tell the distinct differences between them, but this is some of his best acting, because when I looked through Creed and Black Panther, I feel like he was turning it up a notch because it's just franchise shit. It's just comic booky. Right? And so when he was... Some of his lines in Black Panther get pretty damn corny.
So corny.
Yeah, so
That's
corny.
my biggest concern about...
Creed 3 was pretty fucking corny. He directed it.
Yeah, my biggest concern about Sinners, and the reason why I was disinterested at first, and it sucks to say that, right? Because I love Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler, by the way, he is like one of the most like not fit in your box type of director to create like art pieces that he has, right? Super Oakland, super Bay Area.
Oakland has a strong stutter, but is full of confidence.
Yeah.
He knows his work. He knows what he's trying to make. And wow, it's like it makes you pissed off at Disney. Like, look how much you hold him back.
Yeah.
Like, you're holding him back by making him do this shit.
Yeah.
But man, Sinners was just so much everything that I can't wait to talk about it. So we got to go watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like we need to start going back to that with film, right? And we've said this before too. How often were we doing a lot of film reviews? But we were doing a lot of film reviews for newer films, and nothing has been really sticking out to me enough for me to like give a shit, right? And to watch it 3 or 4 times. And so like the hard part of sometimes when we do like these film reviews, it's like you guys want new reviews for like newer films. I don't care about them.
Right.
That's why you've gotten a lot of like older classics. It's just a lot more to talk about for me, right?
It's true.
And I think originals too. When you have like original film ideas, it's just a lot more exciting, right? There's just more things to like cover.
All right. I finally got caught up with Squid Game season 2.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I think a lot of people, I don't know whether there was no hype behind it. It wasn't as viral and talked about on social media as much as the first season, obviously. But maybe it's my mom too. My mom said it was too boring. And then because
really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was boring.
It wasn't boring, no.
So, what was boring about it? That first episode was fucking insane.
Yeah, I think maybe it was just all that exposition. The first 2 episodes was like, I feel like a fucking dumbass by how much they're doing all this exposition with the dinner he's having with his mom, the cop.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're doing the expose on this whole family drama. And it's like, this is so unrealistic.
Yeah.
As far as conversation goes. But as soon as, like we got to get caught up. It's been 2 years, 3 years since Squid Game. Yeah, so I understand that, but when it got going, it got going really well. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. When some of the criticism about it was that it was a lot more boring than the other one. But I think like to top something as iconic as that first season, listen, for me personally, I thought they could have ended at the first season. I don't think we needed a second or third one. And I think it would have been it would have been legacy. It would have been pretty much done. Like when there's a second, third, or fourth season in any type of show that you guys see, how hard is it to beat the first one when it's so iconic? The only ones that I've seen that done that, honestly, is like Sopranos, right? And then for me, Breaking Bad was in that same accord. But I didn't expect the second season to be as good as the first one because I had a feeling it didn't. Even though it ended like kind of on a cliffhanger, I didn't need to see a second season for it. I was okay with it.
It was one of those things where I was watching it like, this feels like they've already finished it, but then I think Jason told me it's actually, you got to think it like season 2 part 1. That's how you have to look at it. And then the season 3 we're getting is essentially the rest of season 2, but then we're gonna call it season 3.
100%.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna be on the topics of also like fucking remakes, I do want to talk about this because this may sound like I'm a hater, right? Number one, I'm not a big fan of just like the Disney Corporation in general, right? Fuck all you guys. And it sucks that you guys own Marvel now too. Yeah. So essentially when I say fuck Disney, I'm also saying fuck Marvel, which sucks for me.
Yeah.
But that Snow White, like I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Did you see it though? I didn't see it.
I couldn't. I have saw it somewhere that was legal.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, you save some money.
Yeah. I saved some money on it.
Yeah. You got a coupon.
Ain't no way I'm gonna fucking pay for that shit. Yeah. And so immediately it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Right. We're not gonna even talk about how it looks or anything else like that. But I didn't. When the controversy behind the original like Snow White thing was the whole thing because the Zegler girl, she was going around on this press tour just basically talking shit about the lore and the original
original movie, the original story, like shitting on men.
Which number one is fucking stupid. Number one, how old are you? You weren't even born when the fucking film came out, right? Second of all, in her interviews, she was saying, hey, dude, when I was a little girl, I remember watching, I was like, why does it have to, I was like, you were thinking about feminism as a 4-year-old? Get the fuck out of here, you wide-eyed set bitch. Like, Jesus Christ, you fucking gecko. Amazing voice. But just that alone, when I saw that part of her interviews, it got under my skin so bad.
That's what a lot of people were saying about Captain Marvel when it first came out. The actress, she just kept talking shit about white men throughout the whole press conference. Like most people feel like, you know, I think you generated all of this, you know, men's rights backlash.
Yeah.
You know, like instead of being open for like, you know, the general half of America to want to watch.
Yeah, Rachel Zegler didn't even give the film a chance.
Yeah.
Like you literally sank that ship before it got off the shore.
Right.
You fucking lit the ship on fire. And it's like, what were you thinking? Even if that's how you feel, are you fucking dumb? There are certain things you keep to your inner circle. Yeah. You're literally on a press tour to sell the fucking movie so you can get a bigger or better paycheck. Whatever the fuck that it is, the studios have to make their money back. This is a studio fucking film, which also becomes an issue too. And it goes back to like why even though I haven't seen the film, I'm excited about what people are saying about Sinners, is that this whole Disney franchise has gone into this whole cycle of we're only doing remakes, we're only doing sequels, and we're caring too much about like wokeism, right? And remember, like being woke wasn't a bad thing originally. Yeah. It's just because of what the movement became, it's a negative now. And so this movie is the pinnacle of stupid wokeism gone wrong, right? There are a lot of films that have like inclusion and talk about different cultures that I always support, that I think are really dope. Even if I feel that it's corny, I'm like, fine, it has its good place. This one was so stupid, right? So there's no Prince Charming.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So number one, if you are going to do a remake, who wants to watch the remakes? The original fans of the original work, right?
And they're fucking old as shit.
Yes,
because that movie came out in 1938.
Yeah, that movie came out when fucking before like black people and white people could drink at the same water fountain. Like, are you fucking crazy?
Before World War II, before the atomic bomb. Yeah, it was a fucking marvel at what people were seeing on the screen at the time, because human beings drew that shit frame by frame by frame. Yeah, and that was why everybody saw it back then. Yeah. That was why it launched Disney Animation Studios, you know? And then what was the entire purpose of remaking it? You could have just had it like, hey, now on 4K disc, Snow White. Yeah. Snow like digitally remastered. Why not? Instead, it's like, they spent how much on it?
It was a
ridiculous amount, right? Yeah. And they could have saved a ridiculous amount had they had gotten real, you know, little people to play the dwarves.
That was the other thing too, right? And this is what we're talking about. What were you thinking, right? And if the idea too, by the way, I just want to go back to this.
It was like woke gone too far.
Way too far. Even for my taste. Like this, like what was the point of, number one, removing Prince Charming, right? I understand there are certain parts of certain films and even cartoons that are so ridiculously racist, it's bad. We can remove those type of things, right? You know what I mean? But to go as far as to say like, well, there's this male figure that's saving this girl, fuck that shit. What are you doing here? Yeah. Right? How detrimental is this to society? It really isn't, right? And then we go into the whole dwarf situation, right? They act as if little people don't really exist.
Let's take jobs away from them. They took how many? 7 jobs?
That's 7 jobs. High paying in a film. As if little people don't exist. Dude, I saw this it was like a video of it was like a little person actor, right? Which already that sounds way more offensive than dwarf, isn't it?
Yeah, I think both little person or dwarf. What dwarfism? I don't know.
That sounds hell offensive.
All I've ever heard is little person.
I was like, yeah, you know this little person, right? Like
this little person actor.
yeah. Look at this little tiny dude. So he was a working actor, and he was just like, what the fuck? He goes, do you have any idea how little roles there are? No pun intended. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. There's a tiny amount of roles.
By quantity.
Yeah, by quantity.
Yeah, not size.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of roles out there for little people.
Yeah.
And Peter Dinklage takes them all.
Yeah.
And then Peter Dinklage was the one who said, oh, fuck that. I don't want to be like a dwarf. So... And they listen to him, yet he's not even cast in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
But you take his advice, okay, whatever. But there are plenty of people who were literally born to play Sleepy. Okay?
I know.
Someone was with little person. That's not a syndrome. Someone who's a little person, was literally born to play Dopey.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Like come on, man.
I don't know.
When Peter Dinklage did that too, it's like, did you ever confer with the other council of little people and be like, hey, how do you all feel about this? And he spoke for himself, which is perfectly fine, right? Yeah. But then there's all the other guys who haven't gotten his roles and his opportunities.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, the one time.
It's like, you're big enough to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dying to
dude,
play
if Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory didn't fucking recast little people, that's like 40 little people out of jobs.
That's true. The new Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
No, the new one, they replaced Oompa Loompas with English dude, right?
Yeah. All gone.
Instead of just giving little people jobs.
Yeah, I would be so fucking mad, dude.
Because it's so woke. It's woke-er to make someone CGI'd little.
Exactly. Because that what the whole thing was. They were like, oh shit, we fucked up. Then they made them CGIs. And then people were like, what the fuck, we're human beings. Like, we could have used those jobs. And like, oh fuck, we fucked up again. You know what I mean?
Oh, good.
And then they kept making these changes as the film was going to rematch the wokeism because wokeism changes.
And it sounds really like, I don't want to, it's a small part of like with DEI.
Yeah.
Right. And now you got all these companies saying, yeah, we're not abiding by DEI anymore. So we'll just, do business as usual.
Yeah.
Right. And for most people, things don't change. For a lot of people, they look at it as if it's affirmative action. Right. But it's like the biggest thing about it is more or less like the people in charge doing the work to go out there and search for somebody in the unrepresented communities.
Yeah.
To search for the diamond in the roughs out there. Not just have anybody just come in just because they're a certain race or blah, blah, blah. But then they prioritized what? Women and military veterans.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, I don't think, the death of DEI is going to change much. But with wokeism and shit, like, I really wish that'll go back more or less towards becoming a scholarly thing.
Yeah.
More of philosophy of thought where people understand it first instead of being synonymous with complaining.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's become synonymous with minorities complaining.
Yeah.
And that bugs me too.
It's just, and the other thing about this film too is like, how could you make Snow White way uglier than fucking, the evil witch?
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
Wasn't the evil witch jealous of her looks?
Of her looks.
But
Who's
then
the fairest of them all? They took that line out too. The most classic line in the film. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? They took it out. They thought it was fucking whatever sexist or some shit.
And that's what I also learned. It's not mirror, mirror. It's magic mirror.
Oh, magic mirror
but
on
it's
the wall.
one of those things where through years of history, just the culture just forgot about
magic mirror. They took that whole line out. So like you're ruining nostalgia. Why? And I keep saying this too. There is so much room for original fucking ideas where you could go ahead and reflect the current times and thoughts. That's what those films were. They reflected the time that it was created. All those Marvel films, like we always talk about it, Captain America, right? Yeah. What was Captain America? It was literally from war. It was like a war comic book. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It reflected what the world was going on at the time. And
and then Cap 2, it was once again what was happening at that time, with our military was post 9/11, intelligence, us giving up our freedoms for the sake of safety. And then, Cap 3 we talked about. It's special privilege, special rights because you got special powers. In our world, we look at billionaires like, they kind of get away with some shit and they're like, I have to get away with some shit because I make the world a better place.
Yeah.
That and government regulation. Be like, no, you don't.
Like I'm saying to
and
you.
then
Yeah.
What happened with this new Captain America? Did you see it?
Dude.
I fell asleep a little bit in that too, but as while I was watching it, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm falling asleep when they're doing the jet fighting shit.
Marvel has lost its touch so fucking hard in like creating good films, right?
Who the fuck wants to be Falcon, by the way? That is, Falcon as a sidekick, I get how that works. But if you're already Falcon and then you get a Falcon sidekick and that dude is boring as shit and they seem like some manufactured people.
They're making like I saw a list of obscure Marvel films that came out that I've never heard of, and it's like these random characters, and I guess like it's I don't know who it's like, I don't know, fucking Tomato Man or some shit. Like
is there a werewolf now too?
There's some obscure, nobody gives a fuck superheroes, right?
Right.
And they created a few shows and films. I forgot which one they were, but I heard it's because they own like the license to these characters, and they had within them owning it, they had to create something with them. So they just put out some random bullshit.
Right.
But it's like killing the franchise. Just make original fucking film. And it's not like there's a lack there of original thought. It's just like studios won't back them, right?
Right.
If it's something they haven't already heard of or hasn't already been done, even when you have to pitch shows, it's so stupid. You can't just pitch them your idea. Like one of the things they tell you to say is, bring an idea that's what's something that is already like. And I would hate that shit because the idea isn't like that, right?
Yeah.
But you have to give them something to chew on. So you'll be like, I have this show idea about it's a guy that grew up in a Korean church and all the struggles that he goes through it. He does drugs or whatever. And I'm just making some random shit up. And then at the tagline, I have to be like, it'll be like The Bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's how unoriginal these people are. Right. And it's not like these people who are execs are in anywhere near a creative position, so they can't see the vision.
You have to give them a frame of reference in a way, I guess. Yeah.
They don't see the vision. They're not going to really fully read the script. There's none of that type of stuff. So it's like I miss those days where we could, I don't know, man. Like I just kind of want new things to chew on. Right?
I think it's going to go that route.
It has to, eventually, because look what's happening. Nobody's making money now.
The argument is like, you shouldn't make one movie that costs $200 million.
Yeah.
You should make 20 movies that cost $10 million each.
Yeah.
And you can get, I guarantee you're going to get at least more than half of them are going to make you a lot of money back.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of good originals out there. I think rather than it being a superhero thing that peaks in our lifetime, like, okay, so back in the 60s, before that, it was the Wild West genre.
Yeah.
It was everything in film, TV, and all of that. And then, that just instantly dropped for like this really gritty, real life type shit in the 70s. And then we're coming into the 90s and 2000s, and now superheroes on a rise, and everyone's like, oh, it's gonna drop, it's gonna fall, just like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Stuff. I don't think it so much is the superhero thing, but I think it's the blockbuster thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we can still have a superhero movie that doesn't cost $100 million.
Yeah.
We
went through that whole action film phase, you know what I mean, where it was like
the 90s was the pinnacle of action movies.
Yeah, all action movies.
Speaking of, would you want to see a remake of Face Off? I'm one of those, I'm like, leave that alone.
Yeah.
Leave Face Off alone. Like Back to the Future, I'm okay with a remake of Back to the Future, to be honest. But there are people like, don't touch it. But it's about time travel. Like, you know, we can talk about some shit, about how we see the past and the future to our modern age. But that makes me feel like an old head. I mean, I'm officially unk status now. Yeah. Because I am technically now an uncle.
I will say, man, like if I had One movie that I feel that should never be retouched ever, and I think that it's an actual perfect film, despite the other sequels to it that I've openly hated, is Matrix, the first one.
The first Matrix.
That thing can never be retouched or remade ever.
Yeah.
That thing still stands till this day as a fucking amazing film, dude.
100%.
Because we were talking about this when we were high, about like 3 films that we had to watch for the rest of our lives, and that was fucking hard, dude.
Yeah.
And all genres, you have to only pick 3, and I put Matrix, the first one, as one of them for sure. Because everything I kept thinking was Korean.
Right.
But the first Matrix, I absolutely have to. The second one has to be a movie that makes me laugh my ass off, and it would probably be Nacho Libre.
I was going to say Nacho Libre has to be. For some reason, I could watch that shit over and over and over.
I've watched it. There's 2 comedy films I watch the most. It's Nacho Libre and White Chicks. That was stupidest movie ever, dude.
I think for me, it's Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura's
First one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the first one or the second one better?
I like both.
Both, yeah.
But we watched it when I was a kid, so it's like I love both. Anything stupid like that.
Dude, all these jokes like came back later because I didn't see the Ace Ventura the part 2 when nature calls for a while.
Yeah.
I put it on, and then this whole joke, I never got it as a kid, but I get it now. Is how he was jacking off, and then the safari dude walked in on him, and he's like, oh, I'll be right out.
Yeah.
I was just meditating. And now I'm an adult like, he's jacking off.
Ace Ventura 2 is a very iconic film for me because it's the first time I ever saw my dad laugh. Like the hardest he's ever laughed in his life.
Let me guess, when he's coming out of the rhino's butt.
Yes. My dad was crying laughing. See, I've never seen him laugh like that.
Here's the thing. Those kind of comedies don't exist anymore.
At all.
Well, they exist, but they go straight to streaming and they're worth like nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know what happened. It's like how Adam Sandler went straight to Netflix because I think he saw the writing on the wall. Like, hey, my movies' theatrical releases aren't doing great.
And before we end this podcast, one last thought too. Like, I think original films too. I've seen like a few like original comedy films, and it's just like some of these actors too are just fucking trash. It's like, God, you're so bad. Like, you're so bad at fucking acting. It's unreal, dude. Like every like new actor now, they all sound like they're reading off. Not all, every. I'm very generalizing, but a lot of these people who I've seen like pop up on film over and over, they sound like they're reading jokes off of a piece of paper. It's like, you guys are not good. How did you get these jobs?
It's not funny people acting like they're funny.
Yes, and
that's the problem.
So hard to watch,
rather than like naturally funny people who can get up there. Yeah.
It's just so like, fuck, you're so untalented, man. How did you get here, dude? And I'm not even saying from like my perspective, like I could do that. No, I'm talking about find good actors that could at least fill these roles, right? Because when you look at some of these like comedy films too, who's replacing Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura? Who's replacing Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's nobody like him.
Yeah, like in some of these other films, right? Like, I don't know, what was the one that came out with the all Asian girl cast?
Where they go on a
road trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you could replace all those people with somebody else.
Right.
So I'm not that sure, and that's not me knocking on their acting or anything like that, right? Because I haven't seen the film, but I saw like the trailer, and I'm like, it seems like you could replace any of these people, right? Like there's nobody that's like a real star here,
right?
That kind of carries everything, right? When you have somebody like Bridesmaids, right? All of those characters cannot be replaced with somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think those are kind of those missing pieces in some of these like quirky, funny comedy films. It's more about this like inner dialogue that they have, or this random, like, they don't even give them like real writing. They just let them freestyle and just like.
That's the problem with a lot of comedy movies.
Yes.
Too. Ghostbusters 20, the one with all the women in it. I don't think it was bad because there were women in it. I thought it was bad because there was no script.
Yeah.
It's because this whole movie, they just kept riffing on each other. It's like, they were just extended scenes of riffing and riffing and riffing.
Right? I don't give a shit about.
It worked in Bridesmaids because that was magic in a bottle.
Yeah.
But then, they throw $200 million to corporatize it, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, That's the soulless movie to me.
That was like the clips that I saw of that road trip girl with all the Asian girls in it. It's like, did you guys have a script, or are they just letting you talk? And it's like, none of y'all are like, this is not that funny. Like, what's the original line here? And people forget too. They're like, oh, everything's like that with comedians. No, it's not, man. You should go see it. You should read the script of The Office.
Right.
All those jokes are written,
Right.
but the actors perform it so fucking well.
Yeah.
You would think it was like that, right? They give you moments, right? But a lot of those jokes that we remember in the show were all written.
Yeah.
That's how good the writing is. So it's like somebody has to step their game up here, right? Because I feel like now the audience now has seen these tropes so much, and we've given so many content. We could really get tired of things extremely fast.
Right.
So now original content does have to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we once had to wait a year for a movie to come out to rent, and now you could literally within a few weeks go back and slow motion all the little things and nitpick the shit out of it as well, but which I don't, if it's accessible to you and you're using it for something good, I won't knock. But then what it does to us as a society, like you said, is it's old news.
Yeah.
It just comes 100%. And goes. Yeah.
Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. What do you guys think about these films? What do you think about that wide-set-eyed Zegler girl, huh? You think she's fantastic? Did you like Snow White? Are you a loser?
What movie do you want to see remade?
Yeah.
What movie do you think they shouldn't remake?
Lion King again, dude. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I can't believe they made another one.
I know. I don't. We could talk about that on the next one.
All right.
You can catch Ed at EdParkVP and Manga Miata on Instagram. And then every Sunday, Genius Brain at 12 p.m. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.